Right, it's Carl here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, and I'm chatting to Connor Middleton, the drummer of alternative rock band Stone Sea. First things
Yes.
first, Connor, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, can't complain. First day off in a week, so yeah, been busy at
Lovely.
the computer.
Yeah, yeah.
How's life been for you then over the last couple of months? Obviously, the pandemic-stricken world we now live in.
Yeah, it's been interesting, man. Uh, like going from like busy in college and work and band to just within the space of like, to be honest, what felt like 2 days, going from just like a normal day of life to within the space of 2 days, just feeling like everything was gone, and I was just sitting in my house being like, "What's after happened?" It was weird. Like I don't know how to even explain it. I kind of feel like I've become accustomed to it now, though. You know what I mean? Like there's like talks of going back to work and stuff, and I'm kind of just like, am I gonna be? I feel weird about it. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like accustomed to just chilling out and like getting up at like 11 or 12 and kind of just hanging out and kind of playing some drums and playing some guitar and kind of like chilling out. Like you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it's weird. Like it's oddly strange, but it's kind of nice as well to have some downtime, I suppose, because I mean, for the last 8 months before all of this, anyway, it was pretty full on. I was lucky if I had a day off at all from either college or work. So going from now to just having a few months off has been actually pretty chill. So I'm kind of okay with it. Like,
yeah. So the word is things going to start picking up for you then, yeah?
yeah, it seems like it. I think within the next month, I should probably hopefully be back working, and we've started rehearsing again. Anyway, like there were studios and everything have opened back up, so we started rehearsing again last week. So things are getting back to normal for the moment. Anyway, yeah.
That's good, man. That's good. Alternative rock, right? It's
Mhm.
such a wide-ranging way to describe any
Yeah.
music, let alone yours. Narrow it down to something smaller if you
Okay.
can.
You see, I actually agree with you. The only reason we say alternative rock is because I heard once, I can't remember exactly who I heard say it, but alternative rock is literally an alternative to your kind of generic rock. You know what I mean? So that's essentially, in the broad sense, that is what it is. But I mean, if you were, see, we even talk about it as well. It's kind of hard to pigeonhole what we are because there's kind of there's like some bossa nova stuff, then there's kind of like jazzy bits kind of coming in, and then there's kind of just like stonery rock, and it's like it really is. You know what I mean? Kind of it really is hard to to describe it. I mean, if you were to ask Elvis, I suppose the singer, he'd probably say stoner rock with elements of world music in it. So there's like bossa nova and reggae and kind of stuff like that. But they're still heavy. You know what I mean? It's still heavy, but it's still kind of light, and it really can be like it can jump from like heavy as balls to kind of real like clean kind of tone and light drums, and then it jumps to like fucking crunching guitar and do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
boom and drums. Like so, I mean, it really is hard. We don't even know what to call it, and we're the ones writing the music. You know what I mean? So,
I get yeah, and like say, no one wants to be pigeonholed, but when it comes
mm,
to your brief little descriptions on Facebook, Bandcamp,
mm,
whatever, you got to put something. And
exactly. Yeah.
you call yourself stoner rock with world music. That don't create enough of a picture. I guess
Mm,
that's why you stick with what it is. And you guys, you're based in Dublin, Ireland, right?
yeah.
That's my home country. You might
Mm.
not know it from my accent, but I was born in Cavan and lived there
Oh
till I
yeah.
was 12.
You
Yeah.
said Calvin. I heard a bit of the Cav, and I heard that a little
Oh
bit in the
shit.
accent there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when I saw it. I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. But Stone Sea, it's weird, really. It obviously
Mm,
originated in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Your vocalist
yeah.
and guitarist Elvis. How did
Mm.
you meet, and why did you decide to join Stone Sea?
I think I met Elvis probably just over 2 years ago, maybe, because there
Uh,
was a different lineup here. So Elvis moved here in 2015, I think, and there was a different lineup of the band initially when he moved here, and I was in another band, and like the Metal to the Masters competition for Bloodstock. So I was in another band, and I think one of the bands that were like the guest spots where I was friends with here that were playing the semi final that Stone Sea were in. So I seen Stone Sea play, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Now I was playing in like a kind of thrash death metal band at the time, but I was kind of interested more in because I'd played like this kind of rock music more in my teen like when I was a teenager, and I kind of wanted to venture kind of back into it like. And I remember seeing Stone Sea play and thinking like, I mean, what like seeing Elvis play guitar in general, never mind like in rehearsal alone, still blows my mind to this day.
mm,
Just seeing how he can create what he creates, and like he starts shredding, but then he starts like finger picking this like incredible melody that blows my mind. You know what I mean? And I'm just like it's the whole package, in my opinion, when it comes to being in the band with Elvis. You know what I mean? But when I seen them play, I was like, oh, they were good songs. You know what I mean? They were solid songs. It was a good performance, and overall, it was a really enjoyable show. Even though the set was a half an hour, I still walked away thinking, Jesus, that was pretty good. Like, and then I think I met Elvis then after that gig, so I kind of chatted to him a little bit, and never really stayed in contact, but just kind of like, oh, hey man, you know what I mean, kind of situation. And then about 2 years ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, I seen that they were looking for a drummer, and the band I was in had kind of imploded on itself, and I was kind of looking for something new to do. And I just sent Elvis a message being like, hey man, I seen you looking for a drummer, do you want to come join a jam and see how it goes? And then we jammed, I think October 2018 or 2019, I think it was 2018. And then nothing really came about it. And then there was a gig booked in February of the next year. And he texted me like 2-3 weeks before the gig being like, hey man, there's a gig booked and we need a drummer for the gig. If you feel like you'd be up for learning, I think it was like 10 or like 14 songs or something. It's like, if you feel like you can learn these songs in the next 2 or 3 weeks, do you think you'd be up for doing the gig? And I was like, definitely. Like, you know what I mean? I hadn't gigged at this point in I think about 6 months, and I was kind of itching to get back at it. So I was like, definitely, man. So we played our first gig then here, and then we kind of just kept going, kind of started gigging around the country here. Just kind of did more gigs and all that kind of stuff, I suppose.
Yeah. And I've seen you now looking for a bass player, right?
We are indeed, yeah.
Yeah. No issues there, everyone good?
No, everything's fine, you know what I mean? We're still really close with John. I was only talking to him the other day on video chat, and it's all good, you know what I mean? It was nothing personal, you know what I mean? So he just decided he wanted to move on and do other things, and as much as like it wouldn't have been my particular choice, because me and him are very close, you know what I mean? And we're in college and stuff together, and it was sad to see him go, but you know what I mean? At the same time, like if that was the decision he made, like I fully support him in what he wants to do, so it's totally fine, you know what I mean?
Of course. Sometimes, you know, your life just goes in a different direction to what the music is. It's exactly, won't be the first musician to ever leave a band, and so it won't be the last.
Exactly, yeah.
Up until the collapse of All Live Music, you were taking part, you already mentioned it, in Bloodstock's Dublin Metal to the Masses events. Tell us a little about how those were going for you.
Well, see, our actual heat, so our first round was actually 2 days before we went into lockdown. 2 days after we went into lockdown, so sadly it got cancelled.
Oh, okay.
So we actually didn't get to do the heat, but we were really looking forward to it. We'd like put a lot of work into the set and put a lot into the like kind of ergonomics of like the little in-between bits of songs that, you know, everyone thinks is just real natural when it is 100% rehearsed and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And we put like a lot of effort into making sure that it was as good as it could be. And then I remember talking to the guy, Oren O'Byrne, who arranges it, like kind of the government had announced that they were closing all the schools and colleges, and like there was kind of like some talk of everything being shut down. So I sent Oren a message on Facebook going, hey man, just out of curiosity, is this gig happening? And he was like, I really don't know at the moment, and it's looking unlikely. And then I was like, damn, because we were like really looking forward to it, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. It's not, I think a part of me is kind of selfish about it in the sense that because it didn't just happen to us and it happened to everybody else, I'm kind of totally fine with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all right. Like,
it makes a lot of sense as well, because before this, earlier on, I was looking through the list and the heat, and I was like, right, that was this date, and I couldn't work out if that was before or afterwards. But then I couldn't find any footage, and I was thinking, this may not have happened. He'll know.
Yeah.
Are you looking to kind of continue that run into 2021? Because obviously the plan now with Bloodstock is an extra day. There's going to be more bands, Metal to the Masses to continue. Is the plan just to keep going with it when it does happen?
I mean, I think there's still kind of a lot of unsureness around how that particular situation is going to keep going. But I mean, we still want to be involved in the competition. You know what I mean? We're still going to keep going once we can. Like, you know what I mean? Once everything picks back up, we're still just going to take it like the way it was before and just keep moving forward with it. So, I mean, for the moment, there's no definitive answer about when anything is coming back. But as soon as it does, and we have some sort of reference of when the gigs will be or anything like that, we'll be there, you know what I mean?
Banging.
At time and ready to play. So
that's good, because obviously the Dublin Metal to the Masses as well produces some class acts through the years that end up playing it. I guess, have you ever been to Bloodstock, by the way? I should have
I
asked.
haven't actually.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't. So I was going to go the year Gojira headline. I'm a big Gojira fan. I was going to go that year, but money and stuff all got in the way, so I just wasn't able to go. But I think Bloodstock, if there was a festival that I'd really want to go to, it'd be Bloodstock, just from the way it seems. But like, it's for considering as what I think it was like 18,000 people last year or something like that.
It's around
It seems
that, I
like
think.
it's like, as much as like that's still a lot of people, but it's still not really that many people as well. You know what I mean? So it looks like it's the exact kind of place that you'd want to be if you want to enjoy some music, but also kind of just chill out and not be too crowded. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Up until 2014, I used to go to the likes of Download, Sonosphere, and 1 year Hellfest in France. And Hellfest was like 100,000 people. And I got sick of those massive crowds. Go to Bloodstock every year since, and it is, as you say, something around 18, 20,000. It's bloody good.
Yeah.
What's the latest update then you can give regarding potential the September UK run, basically? Is it just waiting and seeing still?
It's cancelled, sadly. It's very sadly cancelled. It was a really difficult decision to make, to be honest. We were leaving it up to, realistically, we were kind of talking about it, we were talking about it in April. And we were thinking, right, we can wait till May and see how everything is looking and decide how we want to move forward with it. But then it just kind of happened where we were talking to the promoters, and the way everything was looking, like stuff had been rescheduled for August and then got rescheduled again for September, then got rescheduled again for October. And it was just looking like everything was being rescheduled for a month. And we kind of invested enough into it at that point to kind of realize that maybe now isn't the best time. Don't get me wrong, I don't think anybody was more upset than me, to be honest. I'd put it, like, me personally, like, I put a lot of work into booking it and getting the route, and you know what I mean, it was a very difficult pill to swallow when I had to send those emails saying, look, we're really sorry, but we're going to have to cancel. But the one good thing that came out of it, I suppose, was every promoter was completely understanding, and they knew it wasn't us cancelling, it was because of the situation.
Yeah.
So everyone is like, we'll hopefully, once this all calms down a bit, we'll be able to get back over and fulfill all the dates that the initial plan was. But it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? We couldn't. It was realistically completely out of our hands, and there was nothing that we could really do other than just kind of go by government guidelines and just see how it was going to pan out. And it just, sadly, this time it didn't pan out in our favour, but hopefully next time it will. So it's all good. You know what I mean? We can swallow it and keep going. So it's all good.
Good. All right, the EP, Mankind Maze, been pretty successful and
not too bad.
Pretty well received by fans as well. How goes work on the follow-up, particularly considering you've had months of indoorness?
Yeah, it's going well. Me and Elvis met up last week, as I said earlier, and we rehearsed for the first time, and we kind of laid down pretty much the solid structure and like little sections of the 2 or 3 new tunes, and we actually have about 9 songs written, but I think we're going to keep going and kind of have a selection on what we want to do and decide what we want to do. So we're going to release a 9-track album, and so I think we're kind of just going to keep writing until we feel like we've hit a point that we've kind of written the 9 best songs that we can for now, and then go in and record them and release it. Then we're kind of thinking about doing like a PR. Well, we kind of work with some PR stuff now, but we're thinking of doing other details and everything with it, you know what I mean? But the whole point, the plan with the album was to kind of support it with the tour and everything, but you know what I mean, as I said, like, and we couldn't get into a studio for the last 3 months really, so everything got pushed back, you know what I mean? But it's still going well, you know what I mean? The lack of a bass player and everything hasn't hindered the creativity or the progression with us anyway, continuing to write the songs, you know what I mean? So I'm really happy with the songs. You've got like kind of little phone recordings and stuff, and I've been listening to them. I've kind of been playing them myself at home and just kind of figuring out like little noodly bits and stuff, trying to make it a little bit more interesting for me and hopefully for the listener as well, you know what I mean? But no, it's going well. Like, good. I'm really, really excited to drop this once it's ready, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And when you look at the scene like right now, particularly for Stone Sea, do you feel like there's a glass ceiling or on Stone Sea in regards to what you can do in the live scene and so on? Or is it one of those where you see that ceiling and you're determined to effectively smash through it?
Oh, I mean, the goal most definitely is to smash through it. I think sometimes it can be harder to kind of break through because there's it's not that there's not a scene. There's a great scene in Dublin, you know what I mean? I just think sometimes we don't really we don't hit the right point sometimes in where we go, you know what I mean? Like we've become a lot better of it, you know what I mean? And sometimes money can be a factor as well in the stuff that we can and we can't do, you know what I mean? Because we are completely independent, and our reach can only go a certain distance when we realistically don't have a big backing, you know what I mean? And as much as it's not about the money, when it comes to promotion and stuff like that, it's not just as simple as let's just put a post up on Facebook and we've got signed to Capitol Records, you know what I mean? It's just not like that. So but we're working on it, you know what I mean? Things are kind of constantly progressing, you know what I mean? I think me and Elvis can constantly agree that as long as there's a little bit of growth all the time, we're happy, you know what I mean? We're not expecting to go to Slane Castle next month and headline to 80,000 people, but we're as long as, like, you know, if the streams, just for example, the streams are 10 streams today, if we go on tomorrow and they were 20, you know what I mean? They're not the numbers, but if that's what they were, you know what I mean? There's a growth there, and we're happy with that, you know what I mean? But there's a lot more reception from our live shows, and our physical sales of CDs is an anomaly to me, to be honest, because we sell more physical CDs and merch than we do online with streaming and stuff, which in today's day and age where 99% of people are streaming and are not really buying physical merch and physical CDs, blows my mind. But I'm not questioning it, you know what I mean? We're still going to print CDs, and if someone wants to buy it, more power to you, you know?
That's fantastic, and it's great that you've got such an outlook on it, because it can bog you down when you're a young band, part of a scene where everyone's releasing a new YouTube video every day, and you put a post up on Facebook and 5 minutes later it's buried. So yeah, there's that point of, oh, you release an album and it somehow sells millions and then you're a headliner. Those days are gone anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. What's been your proudest accomplishment to date then?
With Stone Sea or just me in general?
Stone Sea, of course, yeah.
Stone Sea. When we released the Mankind Maze EP last November, that gig was great. It was we got some bands, so we got two groups of two bands that are good friends of ours, Red Sun Alert from Cork and then Callous Crows. I think the guys are from Offaly, and the two of those bands are just insanely good live. That it was. I was standing there watching them, thinking like I would have been happy being here even if we weren't playing. Just watching these guys, you know what I mean? They're just excellent, like across the board. You know the way sometimes in a band you're like, oh, that drummer's great or that vocalist is great. When you watch these two bands, you're like, there's not one person where you're like, wow, they're great. You're just watching them and you're like, these guys are just great together. You know what I mean? Like everything about them. Red Sun Alert's drummer blows my mind every time I see them. Julia Pollock, the singer, is incredible. She just like screams and she's excellent. Then Keane, the guitar player, is great. The bass player is great. And then Callous Crows are just a two-piece drummer and a guitar player. Yeah, and they're just insanely good live, that it's like you'd listen to their recordings and you wouldn't even believe that they're a two-piece, and then you watch them live and the sound that they have for a two-piece is just spot on. Like they're just incredible. And then we played and it was just like overall, like it was a great turnout and it was just a great night overall, I think. Yeah.
Where was that? Fibbers?
Shinay. We played Shinay here.
Shinay. Where's that? In Dublin?
Yeah, it's on the Keys. I don't know if you know the Keys. So it's on the Keys, like.
I've not been to Dublin in about 8 years.
It's on the river, so like they're like the roads that are on the river, like the River Liffey in the city. It's like all along those long roads.
Oh, cool. Okay, so aside from music, what else do you kind of like to enjoy? Are you a gamer? Do you like horror movies? Basically, the areas we cover on the site overall.
I wouldn't say I'm a massive gamer. I'd like GTA and a bit of COD here and there. Like, you know what I mean? I think horror movies are just not something I can do. I don't know what it is, man. It's like, I think when I was like 8 years old, I watched that like crossover of like Freddy versus Jason, and it like scared the absolute crap out of me. And I've watched it since, and it's not actually that scary. But I remember being a kid and seeing that like intro with like the red and like Freddy's face, and it just like shook me to my core. Like I don't think I've ever felt fear. It's like I can remember it so vividly because of the pure like ball of fear I felt them like deep inside. Like, so I was just like, nah, man, I can't do it. And then ever since then, it's just like, nah. I tried watching The Conjuring, then The Nun and all that shit came out, and I was just like, I can't do this. I can't handle it. It's freaking me out. I'm having nightmares, and I'm 20 years old. This is not normal. I can't be doing this. Like,
oh, that's fantastic. I can never relate to that anymore because what's so much horror, it's like being desensitized to it. So
yeah.
All right. Then back to the music side of things. Last thing, put yourself on a bill with 3 artists or bands that have helped inspire you personally.
Me personally?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Dead or alive, or can there be members that have passed on?
Oh, yeah, dead or alive.
Okay, so Nirvana would be headlining simply just because I learned how to play the drums by learning how to play the first 3 albums. Well, the only 3 albums, I suppose, apart from like the B-sides and stuff. And then Foo Fighters as well, just because I was obsessed with Dave Grohl when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And then Queens of the Stone Age had a big influence on me when I was kind of like 15, 16 as well. I think that learning those kind of tracks and stuff like that, I think kind of brought my own personal development as a drummer to the next level, just because they were more intricate than like the Nirvana stuff and the Foo Fighters kind of stuff I was learning, and it kind of allowed me to get like better bass drum like skill and kind of cleaner playing and stuff. And then once I kind of hit like 17, 18, like it would have been a lot of metal. So I would have learned like some Gojira, a lot of Metallica and Slayer. And so, I mean, okay, to get back to the root of the question. Sorry, I was going on the tangent there, thinking about who would I actually know? Okay. So Queens of the Stone Age, Nirvana, and then Metallica in like the 90s, late 80s and 90s. I'd probably have, and then if Stone C could fit in there somewhere, I'd be happy. Like,
oh, obviously, yeah, you know, that's what the point is. You amongst on those bands as much as anything else. Yeah. Obviously, you said Nirvana massively influenced your drum style and stuff like that. Was that the same with Foo Fighters specifically, or was it more Dave Grohl as the guitarist?
Yeah. I think when I was a teenager and I was learning drums, I had this like epiphany moment when I realized that Dave Grohl was the singer in Foo Fighters and the drummer in Nirvana, and I thought I was the only person that had ever known this. And I was like, oh my God, I'm an absolute genius. Nobody has realized it's been under their nose this entire time. Like, and then as I kind of got older, I got a little bit interested in guitar. And then because I was such a big fan of Dave Grohl, I was like, well, he played guitar and drums in different bands, so I mean, I can probably do that as well. And then kind of my naivety of thinking, yeah, I can just pick up the guitar and learn and I'm going to be excellent was kind of there as well because I was a teenager, you know what I mean? But as the years have gone on, I suppose, from my own development, I'd say there's been a lot of influence just from kind of what he does, maybe not even necessarily the style, but from what he does, just to kind of maybe give me the motivation to kind of learn more instruments and have a better general understanding of like songwriting and like what goes into guitar and bass and kind of keyboards and stuff as well, just so I can have a more broader understanding, just so I'm not sitting there like behind a drum kit when the guys are like, yeah, so we're going to play in the key of E and then it's going to be this and it's going to be that, you know what I mean? So we can have the conversation and all that kind of stuff as well, you know.
Would you put him, his drumming then, or as a drummer, up there as like your favourite drummer, or is there someone else?
Not so much anymore. I still think he's a great drummer, but I think my favourite drummer at the moment, there's actually a guy on Instagram that doesn't really play in bands anymore, but there's a guy called Stan Bicknell that really like would be kind of more where I'm leaning to now for my own playing. It wouldn't really suit like Stone C, the kind of style he plays, but the way he plays really intrigues me. And he does a lot of kind of double bass stuff, but just with one pedal. So he's really kind of in tune with his ability with his right foot, and it's really impressive to watch. But I'd say he's probably my favorite drummer at the moment, just by like the videos he puts up and the kind of work ethic he has in general within his life. He's very kind of vocal about that, and it's really inspiring and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I'd say he's probably my favorite at the moment. But I kind of go through different stuff. Like Mario Duplantier from Gojira is just an absolute machine, and I find him just completely insane to watch. Like, but yeah, kind of chops and changes. I don't think I really have a favorite. Yeah, I don't really have a favorite anymore. I think I kind of go through different moments where I'm like, oh, he's great. You know what I mean?
And obviously, you said as well, with not still learning guitar, is there a long-term plan, considering you've got plenty of years left to maybe become more of a instrumentalist?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not gonna say anything for definite. Like, I get some enjoyment out of playing guitar by myself, but my vocals are definitely something to be questioned here. You know what I
That's what I was
mean?
wondering.
So yeah, I mean, I can scream, you know what I mean, and scream my balls off, but whether or not it sounds good is another thing. Like, you know what I mean? So it'd be something that I'd need time and energy to put into. But I kind of go through weird motions, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, oh, I'm going to be the singer and the front man in the band. And then you're like, oh, yeah, but you still need to learn how to sing and play at the same time. And you're like, yeah, that's kind of a big, important issue, isn't it? So, you know what I mean? Like, I go through the motions all the time where I'm like, oh, I'm going to go this and do that. And then I sit down and play drums at Elvis. And I'm like, oh, I'm good just doing this. This is great. Like, you know what I mean? So it's weird. Like, it's a constant, like, turn of emotions. Like, so it is what it is. So.
It's where the talent lies. Just build on that. You know, there's a
Yeah.
million different things still to learn, I imagine, when it comes to drumming. So why go over the top? So regarding Stone Sour, that rolls off the tongue. Really, Stone C. Is it now just a matter of watch this space, keep up to date on your social media, Facebook, your Twitters, and stuff like that, and as gigs get announced and new album gets closer, it'll be there.
Pretty much. There's going to be some announcements coming in the next couple of weeks. I'm not going to say what yet, just so that we can kind of keep it, you know.
Of course.
We're going to, there'll be stuff coming in the next, hopefully there'll be some new stuff coming in the next month and a half or so, month or two. And literally, as you said, just keep an eye. And once we can, the only thing holding us back now is just getting the time in the studio. You know what I mean? It's just actually getting the time. That's it. You know what I mean? So as soon as we're ready to go and we get the go ahead that we can go do this, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say for definite that the album will be released by the end of the year, but I would like to hope so. But at the same time, maybe an early 2021 release could be better just with the way things are looking with gigs and stuff, you know what I mean? So we obviously want to coincide the release with the ability to gig. So, excuse me. So, we're just going to take it as it comes, and just with the guidelines and everything like that, we're just going to follow them to the best of our ability, and hopefully things will go well.
Thank you for such a positive final way to look at it, and to acknowledge the fact that, hey, the world might be in shit, but you've got this plan and it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah.
Connor, thank you very much for your time, man.
No worries, man. Cheers for having me.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for? Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?